In truth, this is where I'm going to need your help.
I'm all in. I'd love to help you work through it. So we can start by thinking about how you want to organize your thoughts. Maybe you could break it down into a few key sections that speak to where you've been, where you're at now, and where you're headed. Here's a simple way we could approach it. Where you've been. Start by reflecting on your past, your experiences, the challenges you've faced, and what you've learned. It can be personal, but also anything that feels significant to how you got here today. Where you are now. This is where you really talk about your current state of mind. What's your perspective on things right now? How do you see yourself in the grand scheme of things? It's all about acknowledging the present, where you're going. This could be a mix of your goals, dreams, and hopes. What do you see for your future? And what steps are you willing to take to get there? This could be a combination of your aspirations and reflections on the path ahead. Do you think that structure would work for you, or do you want to play around with how you want to shape it?
Definitely want to play around a little bit more. I want to cut it up a little bit, make it more interesting.
That sounds like a great approach. Making it more interesting by playing with the structure can really keep the audience engaged. You can mix things up, go nonlinear, or even throw in some unexpected moments to add spice. How about breaking it up into smaller, more dynamic pieces? Maybe like one opening reflection. Start with something personal and raw, like a feeling or moment that hits you right now. It could be something as simple as a thought that's been running through your head or an experience that shaped you. This gives the talk an immediate connection, so people get a sense of your vulnerability and authenticity. 2, flashbacks to key moments. Instead of going straight through your past, you can jump between different key moments or turning points. You could weave in stories that shaped your perspective. Maybe one moment was a high, another a low, but all of them brought you to where you are today. This creates a kind of narrative tension, keeping things fresh. 3, mid-talk revelation. Somewhere in the middle, you could reveal something pivotal, like an epiphany or shift in your mindset. You can share how it changed you or how it's guiding your next steps. This keeps the talk evolving and adds a twist that keeps people curious. 4, vision of the future. As you're getting closer to the end, play with the idea of where you're heading. You can be a little poetic or philosophical here, but leave it open-ended, like you're still figuring it out. Make it feel more like a journey than a conclusion. 5, ending with a question or challenge. Wrap it up by asking the audience a reflective question or challenge.
I know Ashley Radiance just walked into the building, so there's this grand applause. Thank you everybody for, sitting down with me. This is going to be an hour's talk, and I feel really good. And I just wanted to start right in talk about, the reason I'm where I am right now in my life creatively is only because I'm drawing on the inspiration from other people, from the universe, who kind of helped me get to this place and make my life so dynamic, my creative pursuits so dynamic, from my books into the shows I want to produce on television, into the music I make, everything that's all, stemming from other places in the universe. I'm kind of putting everything together in different decades, and I'm feeling good. I remember when I watched for the first time Irene Cara and one of the guys from the Bee Gees. I think he was the youngest kid. Sorry if I talk fast. I'm gonna try to speak a little bit more slower because I just like the decorum of that. Just I like the way that it seems when people talk slower. So I was watching the video with Irene and one of the guys from the Bee Gees, and I was just so the performance was so amazing, and it just speaks to everything I am as a person, and to put that out into the universe, if I can rival that, if I can equal that, and give someone else that feeling that I was given many times over. And some of the people I want to talk about, just like Joey Scarberry. And once I hear certain things or see certain faces, automatically I'm transported to a time where I feel like things are more relaxed. And I want to give someone that kind of feeling when they think about me and look at my videos and read my books, shows I want to produce, everything. I want it to flood back to them the same way that those kind of people do. In truth, I think that things could be better if I could get little bit more help. Um, and this is every creative person's dream, no matter how much money you have or where you are in the world. You always wish you could have more people. I'm sure that guy who's a director, who has all his actors on set, who because all the camera equipment and everything's working well, he still wishes for more people, more input, more help. It's just what we creatives do. You know, we're just always looking for more, and that's a part of it for me. But in my case, I literally could use more people to bring my productions alive. Like I'm working with this amazing vocal coach, producer, and he's great for all the right reasons. You know, he knows what he's talking about. But I still wish, like, oh my God, I know this girl from New York who could be this amazing backup singer, or we can do a duet together, something. And there's always, I feel like we could add to it. People having different input could really make something really like a masterpiece. And I never really thought for myself to just have everything on my own or just have it all be about Ashley Radiance, because that's not how I came into this. I came into it through other people. You know, their spirit bled onto mine. And that's how I was able to kind of live like this and start like presenting myself like that, even though I don't have like a lot of support from people who should be supporting me, like family and things like that. But I have it in other ways, you know, like my godfather Jerry, some other people who see my light and want that light to keep shining bright, and they believe that that light can be brighter and brighter each day. So I understand that there's some people who are intimidated by my presence, and likely some people who don't care for me right now, but will change later, because there's a lot of people in my life who I didn't care for in the beginning, but turned out to be my most favorite people in the entire world. So sometimes it just takes time, and sometimes it involves proving yourself time and time again. And that's something as a creative that I'm willing to do for people to see who I am. That's why I make myself known in different places in the world. Like I've been to shows and everything, you know, even in an Uber ride. Like I met this guy the other day. He does shows, like this I forget what they call them, stagehand or whoever's like crew, something like that. And you know he's well connected and everything, but it's just even simple conversations like that. You know, it was a really um, intense conversation, and because I'm part of that kind of world myself, I'm just always eager to hear people's perspectives. I'm getting pretty popular on Instagram these days, and you know, I'm not gonna lie, when I was younger, I was not a fan of all the social media and all these kind of things. I'm just a more in-person type person. But when I really think about it, like music is not really in person, TV is not really in person, so I was always kind of stuck in the matrix anyway. And I create the matrix every day. I'm part of it, and people are influenced by me, especially children, younger people. They're influenced by this content that they see online. But I saw this woman posted. She said that in 5 years, that 1980 will be 50 years ago. I was thinking, there's no way that's possible. But you know, time is. I don't know if that's really true. I'm not that great with math. But even if that is true, I'm thinking that it doesn't matter to me. Like when I was younger, I didn't want the 80s to ever be more than 30 years, or the 90s to ever be more than 20 years away. But now I'm thinking I'm making so much magic right now, and the people, other creators, you know, they're making magic right now. So why do we care so much about a specific time in history when we can make the magic? And that's what I'm beginning to find out. I don't have to really post, oh, I'm wearing an 80s outfit or my hair is looking so 90s today. Like, I don't even have to do that anymore. I feel like I'm living it every single day. I'm creating it just like those people created it for me. I've always wondered what it would have been like to go to those Comic Cons. I've never been to one yet, because I've always been a big fan of Bill Katt from The Greatest American Hero. I would absolutely love to meet him. I love actors. I love people like that, especially from that time period of like the late 70s, early 80s. But last year, more than 6 months ago, I got the chance to attend the Miami Vice 40th anniversary. It was a very intimate moment, and I got to meet the actors and directors, producers, everybody, and that just speaks to my soul, you know, how incredibly connected I feel to that world of entertainment, living in California and being around those other people who are just like that. And it just feels like coming home to me. And every time I meet somebody in the entertainment industry, especially in Hollywood, you know, it really does something to my soul. I feel like this is where I'm at all this time, and it's woven into me so deeply. And I just want people to see that. And in time, they will, you know. Um, I feel like I'm really into the occult, and the kind of symbols that I put on my page is for people to recognize who I am. And some people, they can't seem to let the 80s go or anything. It's really funny. I'm totally over the decades and everything, but the reason I attended the Miami Vice 40th anniversary because I wanted to, be closer to those kind of people, closer to my future, really. Like, where else am I going to find producers and all these other people? I'd have to dig so deep and go to industry events and, really weave that into my schedule. And around that time, I believe I was taking acting classes, I was in acting school and doing singing lessons. So that would have been a lot for me. Now my time is more free. I would have more opportunities to go to these kind of events and to be around those kind of people. And they were so delighted to have me next to them. It's like they felt like deep down that this girl, Ashley Radiance, she's going to go far. And she really believes in herself. And her work is for everybody to see. It's something to be, it's like commendable. And take a little time to relax. We're 10 minutes into the video. Just imagine Ashley Radiance way at the top billing people. She's right up there, you guys. All right. So I have this amazing story. So I was at the thrift store yesterday, and I've noticed something about myself. I have an eye for these kind of things, and the people that I work with, my stylists. Um, I can put outfits together like that, like in a like really really fast. So yesterday I was shopping for like more bohemian type 1970s outfits and everything. I found one that was more like funky or I don't know, geometric patterns, whatever people want to call it. And in my video yesterday, I was like, me competing against Charles Nelson Riley, and that video did really good, by the way. And to be honest, like I was saying in another video of mine, Charles was not my favorite in the beginning. It took me a while to like him, but more than 5 or 7 years later, I'm just all into his cheekiness and his plays with Brett Summers and everything, but just the outfits, it's really coming alive, and I feel really cool about it. And I have another video where I'm dressing more 80s, but again, I'm not really saying that these are from the decades that it's from because I don't really think it's necessary. I just like living in the moment, and that's really important for the people who follow me. They understand that it's okay to live in the moment. You don't have to chase these decades, chase these people. It's okay to I'm here. Don't run after me. I'm here. What sets me apart from a lot of people is my perseverance and my determination, especially in a world like Hollywood, when you don't see a lot of people don't make it, a lot of people don't like make it, they don't even live in California, they can't even sustain a life there for whatever the reason is financially, emotionally, they don't live it, and I've fought that battle. I've done it, Matter of fact, I got to renew my California driver's license. That's how much, but that's not what's important. It's the fact that, I'm persevering in a way that's really centered around business, when you have to mix creed and feels with business, how difficult that is. And but there's always a way. The more you persevere, you go through where people say no, they'll shut doors in your face, they'll do everything, and you won't really feel in touch with your femininity, which is what creativity is all about. And many times in my life, I can't explain enough how many times in my life I felt like my femininity was not being honored. I put in all this masculine energy, getting to live in California, setting myself up, being around the right people, hustling, and just like, really squeezing myself into this space and creating a space for myself where, it's just my name now, you have millions of people living in California, and then you're thinking like, I have to make this for myself. I'm young, and you don't really know how you can do it, but I was able to do it, and people who persevere are able to do it as well. And me traveling the globe really helped me out, really helped me see different perspectives. It's more than California, right? That's why I like to call California Reimagined, the concept for the show that I have in mind about the four girls, from ethnic backgrounds, and they're just like living life, just like those Topanga beach bums or whatever. But it's reimagined. It's not the stereotypical California, whatever they said in the 70s or the 60s, whatever it was. It's okay to reimagine things, okay? And I'm not afraid to do that. something that people in the creative fields need to understand, that your creative life is all about refinement, because you're going to be better in 5 years than you are today. I'm making these videos now, this 1 hour video, but I started from somewhere before. I made like 5 minute videos, 10 minute videos, and now I'm doing more elaborate 1 hour videos to really get my followers ingrained, so I can really preach it down to their brain, so they can understand the kind of woman that they're dealing with, this kind of typhoon. I hope I'm saying it right. I don't know. I speak like 6 languages. I don't know all the time, but there's a lot in life that that can be refined. Okay, and one of those things is art. My writing could always be better. The way I put stuff together visually can always be better. Everything could be better, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay knowing that in 5 years I will be a better version of my creative self than I am today, or even when I was a child, writing and doing all these other things and dreaming big of my name in lights, as a director or producer or whatever, what have you. But it can always be refined. So I'm starting small. I'm starting on the YouTube. I'm starting on the online presence, and my soul is being scattered basically all over the world until the right people come together and assemble and can prop me up, because that's what a producer needs. People to support them. That's to make their vision come alive. I'm not afraid to keep fighting. People are like, "Oh, this girl is really doing that. She's really out here." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm really here." And I'm not afraid to keep fighting for my place in this world. I already have a place, you know. I have a place, and that's what a lot of people, they can't believe. It's like through all the fire and the storms and everything, this lady really cemented, like she really carved out a spot for herself, and she's not afraid, and I'm not, because I'm gonna constantly be evolving, and I'm okay with that. People are not, they're not ready for those kind of things, and those are the kind of people that are gonna be left behind, and I won't need to mess around with them for long. I will be put in a higher place. I will be elevated, and by the time that happens, those people will be long forgotten about, and I won't have to worry about it anymore. I can know that all the things I did was not in vain. It all spoke to my core, my soul, my creative self. So here's a really big question. Do I think that males can be as creative as females? Because when you think of creativity, you think of femininity, right? It's in the feminine. Like I was saying earlier, how I felt like when I was living in California, my femininity was not always honored. I had to step into my masculine self so many times that it broke me down, and I literally had to take many vacations away from that area just to be in touch with my femininity. It was crazy, but I'm out of that situation right now. I feel more in touch with my femininity, but I'm not doing as much as I'd like to do. So I'm starting small here on YouTube until the right people can come in and start supporting me, the money can start flowing, and things can move more naturally into the direction I want to. Okay. So I feel like males can be absolutely as creative as women. Like when you think about it, it's like Hollywood's like really male dominated, and people think that, like they were saying that the other day, how all the love stories that you see, they were written by men. So I guess they're from the male perspective. You think of all like Cinderella, and I'm not really sure who the author of all these books are, but they say a lot of it is male written. So it's like from a male standpoint, like what guys think we like and all this other stuff. Some things they get right, some things they don't. I think it's really funny, but it doesn't matter. It's all been conditioning. So whatever it is, it's already been conditioned. It doesn't matter. When you're 4 years old, your mom buys you a doll and she tells you that, hey, one day you'll marry a handsome prince, and it kind of gets, you know, fed a lot. And then you have like the boy bands and all these guys, and then the rock stars, and so it kind of gets conditioned. These women are getting conditioned, and males are getting conditioned as well in their own ways. But I feel like when tapped into the right powers, males can be just as creative. And there's a lot of my favorite people, like producers and directors out there, who males, who tapped into that femininity, and it's just so, it's like it's the most beautiful thing in the entire world. I learned from it. It helped me out. That helped me step into my feminine power. It's always something when a man can help me feel more feminine. Those men stick out in my mind so much. It doesn't matter what walk of life they're in, but I've noticed that it's mainly been musicians, and people in television. Like when I say people in television, like the actor or whatever, it's always been those kind of people who help me step into my femininity more. And I cherish those moments so much. I think it's really, really special when a man can help me feel more feminine. And I've had a lot of backlash from family members and other people who, because I'm not walking a straight path, they're saying, oh, you'll never get married, or no guy will truly appreciate you. And I'm thinking, no guy will truly appreciate me, but here I am appreciating these men who help me feel more feminine. Isn't that the most beautiful thing in the world? And so I have really have to watch my back, watch out for myself because there's nobody doing that, especially in an industry like this where people are like assuming things about you all the time. Like I remember I went to acting school in Southern California recently, and yes, I'm a great actor, and that's not my main thing. I do respect actors. I love the experience. I love everything about it. It's just that when I was there, toward the end of my like I guess they kind of did it in weeks. They did like a week 8 or whatever, like 8 weeks of this or whatever intensive program. And toward the end of it, it's like people thought I was getting on because of external factors. And hey, it's California, people kind of do that, and you see a lot of people get on not because of their skills, but because of other reasons. And it's just like being kind of accused of it, and I'm like, this is not even me. If I, to the point where I was feeling uncomfortable, I'm like, I signed up for this, I paid all this money, and I want this to be my path. I want to understand actors. This is why I became a professionally trained actor, even though I want to become a director and producer working behind the scenes, right? I want to work with actors, I want to work with my actors, okay, and to bring a story up to life. um, but people thought I was getting on just because of the way I looked or the way I carried myself. I started dressing better and dressing more like I guess a Hollywood star, if you want to say that. And people, thought all types of pretentious things about me, and it was just unfair. It was really uncomfortable toward the end because of what people thought. And you're like, oh, why does it matter so much what people think? It's like these people are the same people who are going to make me successful. So it kind of does matter. Everything is intertwined, and people want to act like they can be by themselves and feel like they got it on their own. And so sadly, that's not the case. Look around you. Look how many billions of people who exist. The only reason that you're here is because of other people. So think about that. What's the first word that comes to my mind when I see my profiles up on the internet? And when I just see myself in the mirror, I think accomplished. I'm so young and I don't have anything out like on television yet or on the radio. I still feel accomplished. Like just looking at these kind of things. Maybe it's the kind of people that I was around when I was younger. And maybe they were accomplished, and that kind of bled on to me. Luckily, I kind of knew where to steer the ship even from like a young age. And I'm trying to like put myself into this place, and other people might see me through a lens of pretentiousness or whatever, and that's them. But the way I see myself is a really accomplished figure, and that really means a lot to me because it's not easy when your biological family has virtually no ties to the industry. You're doing everything spiritually, and you're fighting, you're stepping into your masculine power when you really should be your feminine, and it really gets exhausting. But I hope that at the end of the day, that this will mean something in 20 years from now, that my craft today can feed me in my 40s. That should be like something I print out on a shirt when I feel low. Like I've been all over the globe, and it just speaks to my core. And I'm really, really polished. That's one thing people will notice about me is I'm really polished. The way I carry myself, the way I present myself on the media, the kind of people, and just the way I talk to people, my fans or people like other collaborators, and the way I handle people who don't have the kindest things to say. Like there was like on TikTok, I uploaded a video of me singing Butterfly, which I was so happy I was able to even sing that song by Mariah Carey, and I did it last year sometime. And I'm a new singer. Okay, I'm gonna have my struggles, but some unkind user said that this is like the caterpillar version. This is no butterfly. You're no Mariah Carey. I'm thinking caterpillars become butterflies. So I handle that with tact and really polite. So I understand the way that, this is like a channel. I'm channeling energy. So I always want to like show myself in the best light possible, speaking from an authentic space in my life. And I'm just happy. I'm reading through all the comments that I got on my page, which I'm flooded with comments. Okay, and people want to see good things happen for me. People want to see me go far. And you can't go far without the enemies. That's not a fair fight. You can't go far without people standing in your way, saying, you'll never be this, you'll never be that, you're nothing. I've had to deal with that from a very, very, very young age. This is the kind of industry that I wanted to be a part of, so this comes naturally. It's this very weird thing that, people feel like you can't have applause, like that you can't have that in life. And I'm gonna be really honest, I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of people clapping for me, cheering for me. And one day I will be able to sing Butterfly with no error in the song, no error in my voice. I put 4 hours a day in, to my vocal practice and to be this really magnetic singer, magnificent, whatever. But when it comes to my dancing, people have so much good things to say. And I'm also a new dancer. I've been dancing for like 4 years now. I'm also a dancer, and I love seeing the commentary. I love knowing that I'm being praised for something that I'm so good at, something that I'm so passionate about the breakdancing and the popping, the locking, and all these other hip hop dance moves and everything that really does speak to my core. Something that's really important to me is when people can be consistent in what they say. And growing up, that was like far from the truth for me. So I really value consistency and honesty. And that's something that my godfather has taught me. And with time, that really became my own identity. And I look back at my teenage self, like I keep saying, creatively, I'm like the same person back then as I was. Of course, with some refinement, but I feel like I'm really proud of who I am. It's like nothing changed. And to be honest, when I was 16 years old or 15 years old, one thing I was afraid of was like, what if I don't like this stuff anymore? What if I don't like the 80s anymore? Or all these kind of shows I'm writing and family dramas and things like that. What if I don't like this anymore? If it 10 years fast forward and I'm like the same person, I'm really proud of myself. And it's hard to find other people who are like that, who are proud of who they were 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and what have you. And the older I'm getting, the more it means to me to find people who are consistent. I'm so proud of myself for, sticking through our relationship with my godfather, Jerry, a gentleman from Louisiana, and, what he taught me about the father daughter relationship and how we've been so close over the years, even though some things have been happening, some demonic oppression, and I have lost contact with him since maybe 3 years ago or something like that. And it's been replaced by really bad people. But he really taught me love, and he was really patient with me, and we just love on each other so much. And it's the most spectacular thing in the entire world, apart from my spirit guide Silas, who was also my godfather in a way. Jerry, being like in the life form, and how he's really looking over his daughter, and he never made me feel less than. He always was always like, we could do this together. We're like equals. We're like a team, and that's sticking with me. So when I write these kind of shows, and I'm writing these screenplays, these books, and all the family like relationships, like in my books, The Nashua Cassette, and Nashua has a good relationship with his niece Ashley. um, it's the reason why I feel like this is because it's been taught to me. I hate to say program, but maybe I've even been programmed into thinking and to love, and I'm not afraid of that. I'm not mad about that. Yeah, 30 minutes, you guys. Take it easy, relax, think about love, Ashley and Radiance, rising to the top. Ashley is all about success. We're over here for 30 minutes. 30 minutes never felt so good. We made it. I understand being this public person, this public figure, that there's going to be a lot of traps. And I'm noticing them early on, but it's really sad when you start off as basically virtually a child, you know? I consider my 18-year-old self a child. This is why I refer to myself as a child. Um, but, being in those spaces and like those people who were in my life back then, for better or worse, they can't be removed. If a lot of people, I want to remove them from my past because they're so detrimental to my future. I know that the only reason that they're there is because they wanted it. It was like intentional. They put themselves in my space because they just wanted a piece of me. And they wanted to know that when I go to sleep at night, I can't turn the fact off that they are in my life. They just want a piece of my life and they're gonna give as little as they can for it. And maybe I did it to other people too. Maybe this is just a natural thing that happens. And sometimes you don't notice that's happening until that it happens to you. That's exactly what happened to me. And I'm gonna come to terms with that. And every public person who's out there, especially who's making such a wave and making a difference in life, they're gonna be met with people who don't have the best intentions at heart. And I'm healing from that. But that's something that I guess I imposed on myself when I decided that this is the career path I wanted to take, and it comes with that public life. It'll be quite something to look back when I'm 27 years old or 30 years old, in a few years. I'm thinking, wow, this girl, she set me up, like actually set me up to be this radiant woman who nobody can say no to. I can't say no to you. And like, I'm gonna be really proud of myself in a few years when I look back and think that, I held myself up. I built like, it's almost like I'm building a house for myself, and from the ground up, from nothing, from nobody, basically, only spiritually, from the kind of help that I got, but nothing really tangible. So that was really all my own doing. So when it's time to celebrate, I'm gonna be celebrating. I'm gonna be putting the lights on and the disco ball out, the cake out, everything. I will be celebrating because that's something that I built for myself. And very few people will understand that because very few people have made it this far, either by choice, maybe that they didn't give up, or maybe by circumstance. So you never really know what people are dealing with. And some people, they're feeling, bitter about the fact that they couldn't get far in life because something was still holding them back. Something could have held me back too, but I kept going. I kept going every single day. It's a choice to keep going. And a lot of people don't like that because it's competition now. They have to wait for me. They have to be more patient because there's no, hey, I'm like, it's like we're racing. I'm getting ahead of you. And they're not comfortable with that. Something that I've watched time and time again is the Comic Con panelist interviews. I watched them for Star Trek, like back in the day. And one thing I just keep revisiting, even when I was in England, one thing I kept revisiting was Bill Katt, William Katt from The Greatest American Hero, Carrie, and everything else. And he comes from like theater parents, sorry, or TV screen parents, I should say instead. I believe he also does theater. I think he finds a lot of joy in doing that. I really, really am fascinated by Bill Katt. I don't know if he has much of a presence anymore, but he should. I feel like he should have made his own production company. I would have loved to see everything Bill Katt. And if one day to meet this man and to really just sit down and be like, you know what, you are incredible. Your parents are amazing. The work that they did on television and everything, and what you do, and the kind of like directors that you work with over the years, and maybe the things that didn't work out too well, what you learned from those things. And just to see an honest individual. I believe he's from Malibu, so this guy, he's like way up, and being around those people from a young age, I understand where they're coming from. I understand when people are like so obsessed with you and so in your space, and it's not until you're on that other side where you can see, like hold on, I'm human too. I'm going through some things. Just because my zip code is this and that does not mean I'm not going through some things in my life. And he's one of those people that always broke through for me, and I'm really proud of him. I'm proud of all the work that he did on television and in theater. If we can get Bill Katt to open up his own company, um, and talk more, maybe even train actors. I think he did one video on YouTube a while back, talking like 20 years ago or something, 10 years ago. If we can talk about, he spoke about like acting tips or something like that. Like I'm a professionally trained actor. And a lot of his tips do come to life. And like when I'm like in a scene, like I forget everything. Like I say, forget everything. The nerves go away. Everything goes away. I'm totally lost in the moment, and I am deceiving the crowd, and the act comes to life. There's something really, really deep about me, and I don't want people to take that for granted. But sadly, if I'm put into the hands of the wrong people, that's just gonna happen. That's inevitable. And it's happened to people who are like me. So I can always learn from other people's mistakes, their examples. And it's not like my life is not going to be perfect just because I become successful. That's not what's going to happen. And a lot of people think that I'm thinking that. And that's like the older I get, the more I realize that this is not a path to perfection. If anything, this is more closer to destruction, only because of all the roadblocks I will encounter on my way up. And, it's just like the lack of support, and just really the lack of understanding, and people not being as genuine as you would have hoped for, especially starting with your own family. That's like the biggest cut in the world. Like, wow, you can even get support from the people who created you, so now you can't get support from them. Then you go to the next people, and it's like a cycle, and you realize that you're really out here on your own, trying to make things change for you, change a path. And once you get that, people think that you don't really deserve it, or that you got here by unfair means. And it's like this whole, it just keeps going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. But as we're wrapping up for the hour, I know people love being with me. Please show your support, the likes, the comments, the praise, the accolades will come for Ashley Radiance. You're on the winning side. Every time you tune into my channel, you're on the winning side. I'm glad that I'm picking up momentum on all my avenues. You can follow me on TikTok. It's Neon Dreams 1980s. And I'm on YouTube, 7 Seconds of Success. Yes, that's meant as an alliteration, 7 Seconds of Success. And I'm also on Instagram as Ember Unleashed. Okay, it's a really flashy page, and people sometimes are afraid of me, but all the messages that I get from businesses these days, it's really incredible. I'm so glad I'm putting that energy out, that businesses do want to work with me, work for me, and that's really incredible. I feel really proud of myself. And the more I get into this, I know that I can become wildly successful. The most amazing things can happen. I don't know. To some people, I just seem so like they can't approach me due to intimidation, and it's the scariest thing. Like, to think that people are afraid to confront me, or to talk to me because they're afraid of what can happen. I'm like, you're here to get blessed. This is the whole reason people come around me. It's because they feel something radiant about my energy. This is why my last name fits so perfectly with my energy, right? Ashley Radiance. This is why I gifted myself that surname, so you can easily find me, okay? And all the kind of thing, the work that I put out. It's just the most incredible things. Like, I look at my page a lot of the times thinking, oh, I want to be that girl so bad. And I think about it, look in the mirror, hey, that's me. And and I understand that there's a lot of people who they can't really equal that, and they feel intimidated by me, by my presence. And it's only a matter of time. They're gonna circle back around, and I know that I'm not afraid of that. There's good things happening all the time with Ashley Radiance. Please give me a follow, a like. I'm so glad for people engaging with my profiles and really, really feeling good about me. There's good things happening, you guys. Don't give up. So a good question I got is, what's the song that I did not think I'd like at first, but ended up really liking? So there's this song called, I believe it's called "Don't Give Up." It's by Peter Gabriel and by this other woman. It's just like the sweetest little song, you know. And it took me a while to like it, but then I did, and it's just like, they use moments of silence, or like the instrumentation gets a little quieter. It really draws the listener in. It's come to a point where like people view me as being too expensive, like they can't take on the burden of me. Like, I have had that, like places in like middle America, Nebraska, when people see my profile, like, hey, I can't support this girl anymore because I know what she's going to request from me. And rightly so, because of the kind of attitude she's putting out, the kind of star presence, and they feel intimidated. There's a lot of intimidation going on, I noticed, you guys. Life is all about tests, really. The closest people are going to be the ones to test you. They're going to see how far they can be, how long they can last in your circle. And I'm all about love. I really do want to encompass like that, like a lot of people can be around me, from all types of walks of life, really. And as much as I want to be selective in some ways, I also want to be encompassing, to the right kind of people. And I know they'll naturally find me. So that's not going to be something too hard. But I really am proud of the things I've done in the past and the people that I've made myself known to over the years. They've been such extraordinary. I think about them all the time, and they're my thoughts. Really, they are. It's like this thing, be careful who you give your energy out to. And as a public person, it's really difficult to control that or to really manipulate that when people are manipulating me all the time. And it's really difficult, but that's the kind of life I sign up for. Like when you enter this kind of life, it comes with its regulations, it comes with its like requirements and all these other things. And it's just really weird when you want to step away from it, but you can't. You can never undo yourself. And that's what's really scary to me. And I have my fears and I want to share it. I want people to know that I'm scared a lot of the times, because I feel it coming. Like I could be the next one who won't live that long, due to my life being really chaotic in so many ways, and people want to insert themselves into my life far too many times, and it's like the wrong people time and time and time again, and I have very very little, say in who gets to do that. And they'll come in with smiles. Maybe I'll let my guard down for a second or two, and they're already there, and it's scary because they know they shouldn't be there. It's like, get out of my space already. Instead of appreciating what's in the right in front of them. Hey guys, we're wrapping up the hour. We got 20 more minutes for me, less than that, in fact. Hey, stick around, stick around. So instead of truly appreciating what they have in front of them, they'd rather make it unpure and or impure, really. Um, and it's like, wow, you really twist my words like that. That's what you do to me, and I have no freedom anymore. Like it's like I'm in prison, and like my mind is really. That's what I mean by that. And everybody is. Everybody's mind is in prison. This is what I'm talking about. Like everybody's being programmed in some way or another. And it's scary because I have no control of it. I have no control of the people who want to insert themselves into my life when all I wanted to do was bring some type of love into yours. How did it get so, like, messed up so fast? And, it's like protection. Where am I being protected? Who's protecting me these days? And it's like nobody is. Nobody is. So I'm like always keeping, I'm like one eye open when I'm sleeping. It's like I never feel safe. I never feel, I never feel safe no matter where I go in this world, except when I'm in England in the countryside. That's like my sweet spot. But really, like there's all these major cities that I keep going to and everything, and I don't feel safe. I don't feel like what I'm doing is safe. Like, sharing my life and, being vulnerable with certain types of people, with a lot of people actually, and them not really valuing it. They don't see the value in it. If here I am coming and walking in all pure, thinking I'm doing the best thing that somebody could do for somebody, and here I am being trashed, and it's a cycle. It keeps happening, and I have no say. There's people out there that truly love me and truly care for me. Those people, including my godfathers, Jerry and Silas, they mean a lot to me. I'm really proud of myself for sticking through it all. And, one day I will be big, I will be big. But in my heart, I'm already big. My heart's big. It's just a matter of time, but everything lining up with the universe. And I feel really proud of myself for not giving up. So I encourage my followers on all my platforms also to not give up. That really means a lot to me. The people who make it all happen, behind the scenes who just been coaching me through the years, the stylists and everybody else. I really do thank them. Come from a place of humility. I'm really proud of myself and them. There's nothing more important than believing in yourself. And as we hit this 15 minutes left on the video, I just want to share how important it is to believe in yourself and nobody else, especially the people around you who are not being that supportive. You're really doing everything on your own, but you're never truly alone. I feel like everybody's born with an angel on their shoulder. Maybe not everybody, but I was definitely born with one. And he's been guiding me. My spirit guide, Silas. He's been making sure that I'm really secure. And a lot of people, especially in the creative fields, they're not secure in themselves. They're always wanting something, like I addressed earlier in the video, and many times in my videos I talk about creatives always want more. And Silas taught me how to quench that thirst in a sense. He taught me how to feel satisfied. And even though I'm always looking for more, at the end of the day, when I talk to somebody or message somebody, I'm always wanting more from them, more, more, more. Okay. But Silas taught me how to quench that and to really make it digestible. And that's what I've been able to do. So, like, perfectly, I guess. And I feel really proud of myself. And I'm taking things one step at a time, one day at a time. It's only a matter of time and things will change. And I don't feel bad about saying that, one day I hope some really like rich director comes and swoops me up and I become his wife, and there I gain total access into the world of television production. I'm not afraid of that. I know who I am. I know what I represent. I know the kind of people who go around me, and they know I'm worth it. My worth is so intertwined with the things that I do. And I like knowing that my worth equals, the kind of energy that I'm putting out. There's a lot of good people out there. I want to make that really clear. A lot of good people who've been helping me out. That's something I want to preach again and again in my network. Um, I never sleep, really. My teachings never sleep. That's what I should say. My teachings never sleep. It's on 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, you guys. Tune into this Ashley Radiance Magic. Follow me on all the platforms, please. Yeah, proud of myself. Met amazing people over the years, and it just won't stop. Love won't stop. Luck won't stop. Good things are happening, and someone said that in 5 years the 80s will be 50 years ago, and so be it. I'm completely fine with that. Look who's in front of you right now. Forget the 80s. We're right here, right now, and we're making new magic, things that can't be ever be erased. I'm scared. I'm scared of who I will be in the future, of how big I can become. My heart is so big, and things that I put out there, it's genuine. It's all about love and empathy. And those things tend to get overlooked. But I know with the right team, my message can come across. Summer is coming up. Oh my goodness. This is Gemini time right now. The summer is coming up. And one song that always reminds me of summer is U2's With or Without You. Okay, so here are some questions. What's one summer that completely changed you and why? I can say, oh God, there's so many of them really. I guess the summer I turned 21, I was in Vegas. That was a really fun time. I was at the Cosmopolitan. But really, I'm just thinking back when I was 12 years old or 13 years old. I was writing all these family dramas and all these things. And that really just speaks to who I am today as a person. So that's really important to me. So maybe one summer was 2014 or 2013. What do I like wearing in the summer? Plenty of maxi dresses, that's for sure. I love just feeling the breeze, in the end of spring and summer comes up, and I just love feeling like all that air just come in my body and I feel so refreshed. I hate sweating, so I love the breeze flowing through me. So maybe maxi dresses are my favorite thing to wear in the summertime. Which old school artist feels like your creative godmother or godfather? So, when it comes to television or the world of writing, I have to say it's Michael Landon. Feels like my godfather creatively. Musically, Mariah Carey has to be, because I think of her as a creative person. She's not just singing, she's creating. Am I more influenced by visuals or sound when I create? I have to go with visuals. I'm a visually um, like captivating woman. Visuals come first to me. They make the story first. What's one moment in my life that felt like a movie? Well, when I was doing my interviews, which I'm gonna release next year on my page, really new and exciting. The Valentine's Day interview I had with one of my producers. Yeah, that really felt like a movie. It looks like it too. I love this question. What's a moment that lives, like a romantic moment that lives free in my mind. My first ever kiss. So this guy, he was in his 50s, I think, and he like swooped me down and he gave me a kiss. I was like I think I was only 16 years old and he swooped me down. I don't know what they call that kind of kiss, but that lives rent free in my mind. I love that. That's so romantic. Do you believe fame is a blessing or a trap or both? I've already experienced it. It's definitely a trap in so many ways. You meet with a lot of people who are not authentic. That's how this is even created by people who don't have the best intentions at play. So it's definitely a trap. I already had my trappings. Has there ever been a time where you dimmed your light for someone? Oh my goodness, yes. It's happened. It's happened for family members. It's happened for people I just met. Yes, there's been times when I've dimmed my light for other people, and that did not have the best outcome. What's something you've wanted your whole life but were afraid to admit? Being with another woman, like getting married to another woman. That's something I want. What does being seen feel like to you? Not fame, but seen. That can change because what if the person that saw you or sees you, like even your parents, like they saw you when you were born, right? They no longer care about you, or like what if that changes? What if they no longer see you anymore? Does that count? That's kind of where I'm stuck with in my life right now, and I have been stuck with for almost 2 decades or 2 decades, whatever, you know. But being seen just feels like a continuation of that, like you don't just be seen for one moment, but you're like it's like maybe they're walking with you through everything, just like my spirit guide, Silas. That's how I feel seen by him. I feel like, especially when I'm dancing, I always pretend that he's in front of me watching. And I don't really have to pretend. I know he's watching me. So, and I'm doing it for him, and I just feel so amazing. But that's what being seen is like. We can go through so many different emotions together. That's what it means. What are you currently healing that no one knows about? Daddy issues, mommy issues. I guess people do know about that. But this is a better one. People putting themselves in my life when they know that they shouldn't. It's kind of like an insidious way to enter my life instead of it being genuine. Saying, "Hey, Ashley, I really care about you. Let's walk through this thing together." Just like my spirit Silas does. He's really compassionate, but instead they just insert themselves in my life. I'm here. I'm here, and that's what they wanted. So that's them. They're gonna find out, how unsustainable that is when you just quickly run into somebody's life like that and you just want to be there for whatever reason. They're gonna find out. When did you first realize your beauty was powerful? When I made guys like jaws drop when I was like 14 years old or something. I saw like I was walking, I was wearing this dress, this really beautiful dress, by the way. I was a teenager, and these guys, their jaws just like I've never had somebody react to me like that before. So that's when I knew my beauty definitely would do something for me. What's the style era you wish you could have lived in just to show out? I hope this answers the question. The 1970s, the bell bottoms, everything, the paisley tops. I think that's something I would have loved to really feel. I just love the coziness of the feeling of it, the brown, the carpets, the neon lamps. It's really a cozy feeling. When people say Ashley Radiance years from now, what do I hope they feel? Love. What do I want my daughter or my younger self to know about being a woman in this world? First of all, being a woman does not mean you getting married, having children, doing all the other stuff that everybody else is doing. You can have your own path, but it's what I wish I would have known is that I will have to be masculine sometimes. I will have to step into my masculine power. We're winding down the hours, guys. We're winding down the hour, guys. When did you first realize you were meant for more than survival? Well, when people started viewing me as a story, like I met a producer when I was 18 years old, and we had a really great, amazing relationship for a couple of years. And that's when I realized, hey, people are really taking an interest in me. I'm a story to them. This is why they, are so fascinated by me. That's when I knew that I'm more than survival. I'm a story. If I could go back to one room right now, one moment is when I lived with my producer landlord, and if he had like connection to his equipment, that's one room I would have flipped that thing around. I've been like, hey, let's make a show together right here, right now. I just think that's really important that people see me for who I am and know that I'm not a scam. When I talk to people, I always put not a scam, because there's so much scammy things out these days. You never really know who's who, and it's just really, really weird. So I just want people to understand that I'm coming from a place of honesty, and I'm dealing with this a few things in my life right now, and it's better when you can come to them with honesty. They feel like, maybe, hey, I'm worth it. This lady, she's coming to me like this, and maybe I am worth it. I am worth the honesty. That's the sound that I want to get familiar with. I play it all the time. Like before I go to sleep, I'll play like the audience cheering, because I feel like, all the things I've been through in my life, like, please cheer for me, And if I have to get it in a synthetic way like that, then so be it. It is what it is. Why do I call my channel Seconds of Success? Or 7 seconds of success? Well, because I feel like, when it comes to things like fame or other, like, I don't know how other adjective to describe that, but I just believe that it should be short-lived, just so you can get like the meat of it out. It's just like it has to have its moment where it's like, oh, this is so magnificent and it's beautiful. I think it's only worth seconds. I don't think it should be a lifelong thing. And one person I really, really admire is the front man, or the ex front man, really, of Journey. His name's have come to me, Steve Perry. He left. He said he couldn't do it anymore, couldn't take it, and then he just like left. And I'm so proud of him. I'm like, I want to do the same thing. I just like, when the lights go dark, like, I want to leave too, and be unharmed by the industry, or really of anything like this. Just, it's okay for things to end. It's okay for it just end peacefully. Don't try to push it past its expiration date, which a lot of people try to do, and it's kind of disgusting. But it is what it is. It is. Sometimes you're only remembered for something, and you want to hold on to that for as long as you can. It's part of your ego. But for me, I know how to let things go. And maybe it's just the people I've been around, they've mentored me in that way. So I call my channel Seconds of Success. I want it to be short lived. I'm ready for that. We're winding down, you guys. Thank you for all the support. This really means a lot to me. Follow me on all the channels. 7 Seconds of Success, which this video will be uploaded to. And I'm really loving all the support over the years. All the love for Ashley Radiance and her brand. Good things are coming. I'm really believing in the universe directing me to where I need to be in life. Thank you for all being a part of my story and watching the live version of me. Thanks for winding down. The hour's coming to a close. Good things are happening. Thank you guys. So much support. Putting all the appropriate hashtags. This is really great. I feel so energized. Thank you guys. This is amazing. Thanks for all the love. Thanks for getting me to #1. This is my soul speaking to you. Please respect me. The hour's winding down. Life is good. Feeling Ashley Radiance's pulse. Thank you for all the love, you guys. The hour's winding down. This has been a really nice chat. Thank you for all the love. Follow, follow, follow. Thank you guys. See you next time.